Okay, so today we're gonna do something a little different, which is why I'm all kitted up with outdoor gear. If you didn't know, I've worked as one of the lead DPs on a few seasons of the survival show Alone, which is going into, I think its 13th season and is one of the most popular nonfiction shows in the world right now. Then recently, my friend Sean reached out, whose day job is running a 6 million subscriber Minecraft channel, by the way. But he told me he and his friend were about to fly thousands of kilometers north into the Canadian wilderness and try and survive alone just like they do on the show. And he's just crazy enough to actually do it, so when he asked if I could help get them ready and give them some tips for self-filming in remote areas, I obviously had to say yes. Plus, DZO just sent over a new set of the Vespid 2 primes to test out, along with a budget for hiring a BTS camera shooter, so it seemed like the perfect opportunity to do both things at the same time. So we'll pack my car full of gear, drive 3 hours north into the bush, and see what these guys and these lenses are made of. Giving you the whole experience, Sean. Oh, no chance.
You gotta kind of push hard with them.
Oh, good.
Oh no.
Oh. That doesn't feel right. Do you guys have tiny heads?
If you can follow us with your car there.
No, we gotta ride in this.
Okay. Once we get off the main roads, we can go without helmets.
Oh, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that helmet. Yeah, it's about 35 degrees out today, so we didn't really pick a day to make it easy on ourselves, but I guess if it's a survival challenge, you might as well do it right.
Take a seat if you want.
Cool. Thanks for having us at your home.
Yeah.
We'll
just leave your shoes off.
Take your shoes off. Cool. You just been out here all day?
Yeah, pretty much. Been enduring the heat and sweating buckets.
So you play Minecraft professionally, and then you essentially just bought a little Minecraft world to come out here and
Yeah, exactly. I know.
mess around with.
Yeah. Well, I do actually want to recreate this place in Minecraft.
All right, so it's a bit of a mission to get up here, but we are here at an undisclosed location in Northern Ontario. Sean, who's a professional Minecrafter, essentially bought his own Minecraft world to come out here and do real life experiments in survival. So we're up here. Well, why? What are you guys trying to do? Why are we up here?
So yeah, we've planned a trip to the Arctic. I'm a fan of the show Alone, and I've watched basically every season, and I really like it, and I always have ideas of what people might be able to do better. And basically, instead of posting about it online, I thought it'd be fun to just throw myself into it and
actually try it.
Yeah, try. It's going to be Alone light. Like I'm not stripping myself down to 10 items or whatever, but I'm going to try to.
But also not Alone light, because the real Alone has a giant safety net up there, and you're just going by yourself. So
I mean, like, I'll be able to call people to come get. We take all the safety precautions.
I couldn't do it. I just work on the show.
Oh, to be fair, I don't think I can do it either too, so.
But you're gonna try it.
I'm gonna. Yeah, it's a cool experience, right? Like it's it's fun to go out. It's a beautiful place.
Cool. And what about you, Devin? How are you roped into this whole thing?
Actually, the first video that I shot being out here, it was supposed to be like a challenge of like the three of us. So one of the rules was no lighters. We couldn't bring firewood. We can only use what was here.
In the winter.
In the winter, yeah. So like all these people on Alone or Survivor Man, when they're like doing these little things, or they have to build this shelter, you're like, oh, easy peasy, I can do that. It's like, but
I'd never do it that way.
Yeah, no, you forget that they have to move like 400 cubic feet of snow before they do it, and then they're doing it all while not even eating their first meal yet.
So I mean, it's cool that you guys just have this sandbox where you're coming out here and practicing. We're gonna do a couple of things. I obviously can't tell you how we make the show Alone. I'm not allowed to give you like the exact secrets to how the show's made. I'm heavily NDA'd, but we can talk about how to maybe film yourselves in a little bit of a different way, or get slightly more, like you were saying, you wanted to shoot Alone style, but maybe elevate some of the self-shot visuals. Yeah, well, we can definitely play around with a bunch of things. I think there's probably some really simple things you can do that'll help out, maybe experimenting with different focal lengths. We can also play around with these lenses. I'm really excited about these. The original Vespids were my favorite primes of last year. These version 2s are better in all the ways I really like. They're shorter, lighter, faster, so better in low light. So all good things for this kind of environment. They might not be exactly what I'd recommend you guys take to survive on in the middle of nowhere, but we can get an idea of some of the techniques, and I don't know, maybe it'll help you out with the other shooting. Should we see what you've been building all day?
It's embarrassing when you say all day. So I'm here for 30 minutes.
I wish you hadn't said all day.
Just a basic elevated, I don't know, is this a shelter? There's nothing really shelter.
I guess it's a platform.
It's a platform, yes.
So up here we came to help Sean and Devin out, but at the same time I wanted to actually test these lenses out. They're the Vespid 2s. Last year the Vespids, the original Vespids, were my favorite budget cinema lenses of the year. I use them for most of my personal projects and for a lot of YouTube stuff as well. But DZO just made them shorter, faster, and lighter apparently. So I wanted to see if they're still the same lenses I like, just in a better package, or what the deal was. So we're also gonna hopefully shoot some pretty nature stuff, have a look at the footage and see what we think of these things, because the last ones were really great. So hoping good things for these ones as well.
Yeah.
Because you're always gonna, like when you guys go out, you always bring tripods and stuff, right?
Most of the time. If you're gonna shoot B-roll, I would always bring a tripod.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% of the time. The old Vespids flared a lot, and I remember reading in the promotional material that there was some sort of new coating or reduced flaring, and it really does seem to be stopping them down a little bit. So I don't mind flares, but these still look good, but they're not quite as intense. So that is a real thing. I thought maybe they'd be just identical lenses, but it does seem like there is some optical difference. So the flares are still there, which I like. Like I can get the lenses to flare when I want. They're softer. The old ones had really hard edges to them, and these are a lot softer. So I actually like that. I think that's a positive step right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so you're like literally filming like that flower right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like looking over there or something like that.
So I mean, one tip you can do to make your nature stuff have more depth to it is backlight things.
And what are you looking for, like, to film? Are you just looking for something that's like this particular because it's maybe pink and it's against the...
For yourself filming survival content, you need to give people a sense of where you are. Mm-hmm. So I think because the main focus day to day is actually surviving,
yeah,
I think you should shoot details and specific incidents on the ground as you survive, but you should get all of your big landscapes and wides before you go in.
Okay.
And then edit those in as cutaways. So like
Yeah.
you have a couple days at that lodge beforehand, right?
Yeah.
I would just get a bunch of drone. I would go get nice big wides.
Mm-hmm.
I would get like all of your establishers there and then leave all that gear behind.
Yeah.
And go in with just that. And then when you're in there, focus on the story and how you can get the most beautiful like detail shots possible.
Okay.
And then all of those will combine in the edit afterwards. The other thing that is good to shoot a lot of are time lapses.
Yeah.
Because just anything to show the transition of time,
Yeah,
I think is
yeah.
gonna be really helpful in your edits.
And how do you, like, so if you do a time lapse, are you using just like one of these, or you have a special time lapse camera, or?
Yeah, I mean anything really. Like there's so many of them can do a good job. We use GoPros. GoPros on Gorilla Pods can actually do a shockingly good time lapse.
Yeah.
Photo cameras like that has a photo mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, time lapses with that. You even shoot them on big cameras like this. You can just go into the slow mode. But anything that like shows movement of time is going to be really useful in these edits. So one thing I'm noticing about these lenses, it seems like they've sort of relaxed the focus dampener and the aperture dampener, so they turn a little more easily. I didn't hate it so much on the other ones, but I know a lot of people complained before that they were really hard to get going. So these are quite a bit smoother, which yeah, is a good thing, but still enough resistance that I don't feel like I'm gonna accidentally bang it. But that's another change I'm noticing, and yeah, for me, it's a good one. There's a couple there, do you see them? 3 frogs, 4 frogs, oh, there's so many. Yeah, we're getting some hardcore frog roll here. This is a real look inside the Alone experience for me. That and trying not to get fat. It's so embarrassing when everyone's out there losing 1.5 pounds a day and you gain 25 pounds.
Just from craft truck and
Yeah.
You can see some of the stuff I've built out here. Well, we all built. This is my never-ending powered trail camera here. So this is like it's not a 360 camera. There's a camera, like, see, it just snapped to me. It rotates to wherever the motion is. So if I was over here and I was an animal, it would switch to over here and film from this angle. But it mostly just films all the trees and never any animals, so it doesn't really work that well. If we go here, it's actually better this way.
This is actually a really common sort of work environment, you know, following people through rough terrain. And one of the reasons why I was excited to get these new lenses is that they are lighter. It's not like a crazy difference, but when you add everything together, and especially when you start carrying like the full set around with you, or maybe 2 or 3 lenses, it really does make a difference. So like the new form factor and the lightness is a big win in my books. And optically, they seem kind of the same. I'm gonna have to look on a computer later, but so far the form factor adjustments are very positive changes, and I can even feel like a slightly less of a pull forward because of how much shorter and lighter they are. I mean, it's a small difference, but when you're following someone through the woods like this, it does add up. So, and while we're on that subject, I'm so upset that the FX9 is being discontinued and they're forcing everyone towards the Burano, because I don't think I could do this with the Burano. You know, I'm not sure where the future of their camera lines are headed, but you know, this is about the perfect size of a big, reliable cinema camera that I can still carry, especially when you match it with small lenses like this, and still run around through the woods and film stuff handheld. So I really hope they're planning to launch some other secret model like the FX8 or something that we haven't even heard of to sort of fill these shoes, because I would hate to lose this, especially when we're getting into the age now of all these cheap, high quality lenses mainly coming out of China. You know, it used to be these things cost tens of thousands of dollars, and now we're getting like really nice, small, easy to carry around ones that right now at the time of recording, I think they're selling these things in a set of 7 for like $5,100, so they're under $1,000 a lens now. Really cool, and I just hope that there's cameras that are small and light and still powerful enough to take advantage of these things. Yes, I know the FX6 exists, but for me, I need something a little bit bigger with a little bit more professional inputs and stuff. So FX6 is not really an option as an A-cam. So Sony, please give me something to fill these shoes. All right, so you guys have been out here trying to learn how to film yourself, which is pretty difficult, especially when you don't have a ton of gear and you're in a survival situation. Like what have been the challenges with actually filming yourself and telling stories? Allowing
the viewer to kind of be in, like, with me while I'm on the adventure. So like, you don't want to jump cut it too soon because it might be, you know, the attention span might not be there. So really, like, what I want to know is, how often should I change the scene, the duration of the scene, and like just kind of stuff like that. I think the easiest way to think of this stuff is like, think of each moment as a sequence, right? Or a scene, if you want to call it that. So maybe that's, this story beat is about you building a new bed out of logs, right? That's a scene or a sequence. If you want to cover it well, each of those scenes needs like a beginning, a middle, and an end, just like any story does, right? All that is a little story within your bigger story. That translates back to shot variety, because you can usually start a scene by giving someone an idea of the space. So what you need to start any of these scenes is a big wide shot, right? Like an establisher. And you can also shoot that after you're done. You just need to get a big wide shot. Medium, which is sort of like, it's not wide and it's not a close-up, right? Medium is like the in-between stuff. That's gonna be where most of your story lives, and that's where most of the coverage is. Me as a DP, I will shoot as many possible angles, right? You don't wanna get stuck just on one thing, because then there's nothing to edit to. So lots of shot variety, and the real point of cinematography is to visually tell the story you're trying to tell, right? So if you really wanted to do it like Alone, focus on the story part for your filming, and then take some time after to do dedicated B-roll shoots and get your B-roll stuff separate from the story, rather than worry it's not beautiful enough. I mean, to me, they have all the things that I liked about the old Vespids in a more compact form factor, so I'm not sure what's not to like about that. I guess I'll have to look on the computer to see if they're way different, but the characteristics through the monitor anyways seem
pretty similar, just in a different body, so that's pretty cool. I know they've got some new technology that they borrowed from Cook that allows these lenses to transmit electronic data to the cameras, which is going to be really useful for a lot of people. But for me, in this kind of context, we're not even going to talk about it, but it is pretty cool. I mean, anytime technology made by Cook is getting into lenses at this price point, can't be that bad. Thanks, man. All right, so it's getting dark. We've been out here for a few hours. We talked a lot about cameras and filming yourself, and got to play around with the Vespids. I'll get that footage back home and look at it on a computer, and we can talk a little bit more about my final thoughts there. But for now, we need to get back. We're gonna leave Devin to his fate. He's sleeping out here on this bench tonight, so pray for Devin. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so that was quite a bit of fun in the Type 2 sense, because if you couldn't tell on camera, it was horrifically hot out there. And if you've ever been to Northern Ontario, you'll know the humidity can be pretty full on. Really cool though that Sean and Devin aren't just yelling about how they do better while watching the show from home, but they're actually getting out there and experimenting. Not sure if I'd want to do it, because even though I've done more than my fair share of labor jobs and I've spent more than 2.5 years in a tent, being out there in the wild by yourself is a totally different thing. And because I actually film the show alone, I've watched how hard it is even for hardcore survival experts to be alone out there, so much respect to Sean and Devin, and good luck to them. And if you're just here to talk about the lenses, here's what I think about the Vespid 2s now that I've had the chance to get the footage onto a computer. Now, right off the bat, I'm not saying you should shoot a remote nature doc on cinema primes like these for obvious reasons, but shooting with them for a day gave me a pretty good sense of what they're all about. And the short version is, I really like them. They built on everything that made the original Vespids an amazing value, and they delivered the same clean, but with a bit of vintage character in a smaller, lighter, faster package. They've also added the ability for these lenses to communicate directly with the camera through some sort of collaboration with Cook, which is going to be really helpful in post. Also, it seems like, though I could be wrong about this, but to me it looks like they've changed the coatings or something to do with how the lenses handle flares to soften them up a little bit and make them a little more organic is a good word, I guess. Individually, none of these changes are earth-shattering, like the old ones were T2.1 and these are T1.9, and the old ones were already a great size and weight, and these ones are just a little bit smaller and a little bit lighter. DZO didn't reinvent the wheel with these, but when you add it all together, you end up with a meaningful upgrade to an already solid product. Look, if you own the Vespid Mark 1s, would I go out and upgrade it? No. Definitely not. Keep shooting with those, they'll last for years to come and still be great long after the Mark 5 versions or whatever have been released. But as this new market segment of affordable cinema lenses that are actually good to shoot with keeps growing, all those changes to the Mark 2s now put these at the very top of the category in my opinion. DZO seems to have listened to what their customers said about the first version. They made changes, then they put them back in the market at a great price. Not really sure what else I can say other than that. Now, some people really don't like these new kinds of lenses, usually people who have access to the super high-end stuff, but in my experience when it comes to blind screenings, most people have a hard time telling which is which. There's also the fact that China doesn't have a big history as a manufacturer of cinema lenses like Europe, so there's probably also a bit of brand prejudice at play too. And I'm not saying these are just as good as our Master Primes or anything, but most people out there don't need $60,000 lenses. They need solid, good-looking, well-built lenses that don't cost more than their car, and for all those people, these are about as good as it gets. See ya.